Hello, my name is George Veditz. I was born on August 13, 1861 in Baltimore, Maryland. I was born to German immigrants. I became deaf at age 8 due to scarlet fever. After I became deaf, I was privately tutored until I was 14 when I enrolled at the Maryland School for the Deaf in Frederick, Maryland. While I'm best known for my efforts to preserve and nurture sign language by capturing it on film, my other many contributions to the deaf community changed the course of deaf history during a time when deaf people were struggling to preserve their own culture and language. Without this, the deaf community could still be hidden. In 1892, I founded the Maryland School for the Deaf Alumni Association. In 1904, I became president of the National Association of the Deaf. I had a strong opinion about preserving sign language, so during my years as president, I worked quite closely with Oscar Regensburg, the first chairman of National Association for the Deaf's Motion Picture Fund Committee, to produce some of the earliest films that recorded sign language. I went to college at Gallaudet University for the deaf. However, even with always wanting to preserve deaf rights, I always struggled with my identity in public. I worried that I would stick out or be different. Following my graduation from Gallaudet in 1884, I began to work as a teacher for the Maryland School for the Deaf. The next year, in 1885, I accepted a new position at the Colorado School for the Deaf, where I worked as a teacher for another 17 years. In 1924, I was driven by the injustices that I saw that included job discrimination, repression of sign language, and the overall treatment of deaf people as second-class citizens. Knowing I could reach a large and diverse audience through writing, I used every possible format to teach people about violations of the rights of deaf and hard-of-hearing people. I contributed to articles such as The Jewish Deaf, The Silent Worker, The Deaf American, and The Deaf Mutes Journal. I was editor-in-chief for The Optimist in Atlanta and The Silver Courier in Chicago. Many of my articles are still preserved in the Gallaudet University Library Deaf Collections and Archives. I was always working from one project to another, and I hated consistency. I quickly got bored with one thing, but loved working towards different goals. I take a lot of pride in my work. I also worked with President Taft to require all federal departments to supply a list of jobs open to deaf applicants. As a result, 84 jobs became available to deaf applicants. Without me, deaf people would still likely be stigmatized and seen as unworthy.